After we broke up, my ex sent me an itemized invoice via certified mail. He had created a spreadsheet detailing every single expense from our 2-year relationship and was demanding repayment. It included entries like $2.75 for gas to your parents' house, $2.50 for the slice of cheesecake I let you try, and my personal favorite, 50 hour for emotional labor for listening to your work drama. The grand total he was demanding was over $2,000 plus a 15% inconvenience fee. My ex-girlfriend was convinced that blocking someone on social media created a one-way mirror where she could see them but they couldn't see her. She would post these long, angry public rants about me, then immediately message our mutual friends saying, "Can you make sure he sees this?" I have him blocked so he can't even reply. It's the perfect revenge. She genuinely thought she had discovered a foolproof loophole in social media technology to yell at me without me being able to respond. My ex-boyfriend thought he was a mastermind of psychological warfare. A week after our breakup, I came home to find he'd broken into my apartment. He didn't steal anything valuable. Instead, he had turned every single object in my home upside down. Every book on the shelf, every cup, every picture frame, every chair, even the toilet paper roll was rehung to face the wrong way. It was the most unsettling and childishly petty thing I have ever witnessed. I was on a first date at a nice Italian restaurant, and things were going great. Suddenly, my ex walks in. She calmly strolls over to our table, looks me dead in the eye, picks up my date's glass of water, and takes a long, slow sip. She then placed it back on the table and said, with the intensity of a soap opera villain, "Tastes like betrayal." Then she turned around and walked out. My date and I just sat there in complete, stunned silence for a full minute. To prove he had changed from his jealous ways, my ex bought me a giant teddy bear as a welcome back gift. A few days later, I heard a faint electronic buzzing sound coming from its stomach. I got a pair of scissors and cut it open, and nestled deep inside, the stuffing was a GPS tracker and a tiny microphone. When I confronted him, he swore it wasn't for tracking me. It was to make sure the bear was always safe because it was a symbol of our love. My ex was convinced we shared a psychic link. He would text me random things like, "I know you were just thinking about me." I felt a tingle in my left foot. The craziest part was when he called me, absolutely furious, because he had a nightmare that I went on a date with someone else. He insisted that because of our psychic connection, his dream was actually a real memory that had leaked into his subconscious, and demanded to know who the guy was. After I ended things, my ex demanded I return all the gifts he ever gave me. I boxed up the jewelry and sweaters, but he said that wasn't enough. He insisted I pay him back for my half of every movie ticket, concert, and dinner we ever went to. He even demanded I give him back a single slipper he'd left at my place, and half the value of a houseplant because he had helped water it sometimes. The man literally wanted to be reimbursed for watering a ficus. We shared a Netflix account that we both forgot about after the breakup. A week later, I logged in to find he had changed all the profile names to personal insults. My profile was renamed Mr. Can't Commit. My mum's profile became Raised a Quitter, and my little brother's profile, who was only 10, was just named Potential Failure. It was the most passive-aggressive and bizarre cyberbullying I've ever experienced. My ex saw a photo on social media of me on a boat with a male friend she didn't recognize. Instead of just asking who he was, she reported the picture to the Coast Guard as a potential hostage situation. She claimed the man I was with was a known local criminal and that I looked visibly distressed. I had to spend an entire afternoon on the phone with a very confused officer, assuring him I was just enjoying a Saturday on the lake and was not, in fact, being held against my will. He tried to win me back, by creating a deeply romantic PowerPoint presentation titled 10 Reasons You Should Take Me Back. The first few slides were sappy and generic. But then I got to slide 7, which was just a blurry, low-resolution picture of his dog with the caption, "He misses his mommy," written in bright red Comic Sans font. He genuinely thought that a poorly made slide about his beagle would be the final nail in the coffin to win my heart. After our breakup, my ex-girlfriend, an aspiring influencer, staged a series of elaborate, tearful photo shoots at all our old date spots. She posted a photo of herself crying into a burrito at our first date spot, one of her looking mournfully at the sunset where we had our first kiss, and so on. The captions were all about her brave healing journey, but she made sure to tag my personal account in every single melodramatic photo. I broke up with him because he was a pathological liar. A month later, he called me sobbing, claiming he'd been diagnosed with a rare, incurable disease and only had a few months to live. He said his dying wish was to see me one last time. I panicked and rushed to his apartment, only to find him perfectly healthy, sitting on his couch with a romantic dinner set up. He smiled and said, "See, I knew you still cared." He was a terrible cook, but always insisted on making me dinner. After we broke up, he somehow got my new address and had a pizza delivered. When I opened the box, I saw he had used olives to spell out, "I'm sorry, you are wrong," across the top. It was simultaneously the most creative and the most pathetic apology I have ever received in my life. I still ate the pizza, of course. I just picked the olives off first. My ex started dating a girl who looked eerily similar to me except with blonde hair. He then proceeded to take her to all the exact same restaurants and locations we used to frequent. He would then recreate our old photos with her in my place and post them on Instagram. He wasn't just moving on. He was trying to reshoot his entire relationship history with a new actress, and it was unbelievably creepy to watch. She was convinced my cat, who I had for years before I met her, loved her more. After the breakup, she tried to sue me for custody. Her official argument in the small claims court paperwork was that I wasn't providing the cat with enough spiritual fulfillment, and that she was his true soulmate. She even attached a crayon drawing of the cat as evidence of his unhappiness with me. The judge dismissed it in under 5 minutes. I dated a guy who was a self-proclaimed prank master. After I broke it off, I found that my phone's autocorrect had been changed. It would automatically replace my name with "the idiot" and my boss's name with "my glorious leader." I sent a professional email to my boss that started with, "Dear my glorious leader, this is the idiot," before I realized what he had done. I had to get a whole new phone to fix it. He found out I was going on a date, so he called the restaurant pretending to be from the health department. He told the manager there was a confirmed outbreak of a rare, contagious skin fungus linked to their establishment and that they had to shut down immediately for a deep cleaning. My date and I were met at the door by a panicked host who told us they were closed for a hygiene emergency. It took me a week to figure out he was behind it. After I dumped her, my ex signed my email address up for hundreds of newsletters, but they weren't random spam. They were all incredibly specific and passive-aggressive. I started getting daily emails from Anger Management for Dummies, Learning to Love Again After You Messed Up, and Clown School application forms. It was a bizarre digital age form of psychological harassment that was more annoying than anything else. My ex and I owned a joint savings account that we were supposed to split. The day after we broke up, he withdrew the entire balance, over $1,000 in cash. When I furiously called him, he explained he had converted it all into quarters. He said he planned to throw them all into various wishing wells to wish that I would take him back, and that if it didn't work, at least I couldn't have the money either. She was a drama major and treated our breakup like her final thesis. She sent me a formal invitation to an interpretive dance performance in a local park. When I didn't show up, she sent me a video. It was her, dressed in all black, writhing on the grass for 10 minutes, meant to symbolize the pain and anguish I had caused her. Our mutual friends who saw it said it was both heartbreaking and unintentionally hilarious. My ex-boyfriend got my name and phone number tattooed on his chest while we were dating. After I broke up with him, he didn't get it removed. Instead, he had the tattoo artist cross out my name and add the words "is a traitor" underneath it in giant bold letters. He then posted a picture of it on Facebook and tagged me, as if it were some grand badge of honor instead of a permanent testament to his poor decision-making skills. She started a petition on change.org to get me to take her back. The petition, titled "Force Mark to Reevaluate His Terrible Decision and Reunite with His Soulmate," detailed our entire relationship from her perspective. She sent it to all our friends, my family, and even my co-workers on LinkedIn. It topped out at a total of 7 signatures, 3 of which were from her own fake accounts. My ex was obsessed with the idea of grand romantic gestures. To apologize for cheating, he showed up at my apartment and started screaming my name from the street below. But instead of serenading me, he was just reading my angry breakup texts out loud for the whole neighborhood to hear, adding his own commentary like, "And then she said she needed space." Can you believe that, folks? It was like a public filibuster of our failed relationship. After our breakup, my ex decided he was going to become a famous musician and write a hit song about me. He sent me a new demo every week. They were all terribly recorded on his phone and had lyrics like, "Her eyes are like pools of betrayal, and her heart is a locked door of lies." He genuinely thought that hearing his off-key, angsty folk songs would make me realize what I had lost. It just made me block his number. She thought the best way to get my attention was to make me jealous. She created a fake online profile for a handsome, successful doctor who was madly in love with her. She would have entire conversations with this fake profile in the comments of her own posts, writing things like, "Oh, doctor, handsome, you spoil me." It was painfully obvious it was her, as Dr. Handsome had the exact same spelling and grammar mistakes she always made.